Hi, welcome to Clay Center Now. I'm Shannon Stark, Director of Clay Center Area Chamber of Commerce. And today I have two former teachers here. I'm really excited to be interviewing them. I have Dawn Murphy and Laura Pullman, and they are going to be talking about Clay Center Community High School's redesign that you guys just started this year. You've started the process. Yes. Nothing's been implemented, correct?
That's correct.
So tell us a little bit about the process and how your guys' school kind of got involved in this.
Well, Redesign is a state level program. We have a Commissioner of Education right now, Randy Watson, who we have great respect for and we feel is very innovative. And Redesign itself is a process where your school and your community gets to kind of decide what education will look like for your students. And that's one of the things that we love most about it, that it's not a federal mandate, it's not a top-down mandate, that we have a lot of voice in the process. So do you want to kind of talk about how we found out about Redesign and voted and things?
Well, a lot of it came from Mr. Folks and Jacqueline Fitzmeyer, and we were looking for some changes, innovations, and they supported us. They said that if we could get a elementary school and a high school, secondary school to vote on redesign, then the state would probably support us better the quicker we would do this. And the faculty got together from the various buildings in the districts, and we did get a elementary, a high school, and long and behold, there were actually 4 schools in the district that agreed to go along with this process.
Very cool. So each building got to vote and make the decision. Like you said, you guys have a lot of voice in this redesign process, which is really cool.
Yes.
And in that vote, what was the percentage? Like, how many people had to be on board to be able to do this?
80% of your staff had to be on board. And then, of course, you had to have Board of Education approval as well, which we had. And the local negotiating unit also had to be on board.
That's a pretty high percentage.
It is, but redesign takes a lot of work. And they want to know that you're going to have the people who really want to be a part of this.
Right.
So I think it makes sense to set it at 80%.
That's awesome. Very cool. So after you guys voted it in, you've come up with a committee. How many people are on that committee? What does that kind of look like?
At CCCHS, we have 10 committee members, and that's the 2 of us. Our principal, Bud Young, is on it. Both of our counselors, Robert Moran and Sally Lee, are on it. Carla Crutcher, Nicole Weller, Josie Walker, Jenny Davidson, Tracy Lebo. We tried to pick people from kind of each of the departments and areas in the building so that each of those areas would be represented.
Very good. That's
and
awesome.
A community, somebody who could help us with the community.
Right, right.
Very good. So it's a state level, kind of, and you guys are the second round to kind of go through this process, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So we are what's known as a Gemini 2 school. The theme for redesign in the state of Kansas is based upon the moonshot. This is getting more into the history part of this now, but the Moonshot program from the 1960s. And so the first year of redesign, there were the Mercury 7 schools from around the state, and some Gemini 1 schools as well. And most of those schools launched in August. And then we're part of the second group, which is the Gemini 2 group, and they're currently taking applications for the Apollo group.
Very cool. So you voted on this last year.
Yes.
And since that has happened, since the vote, you knew you were going to be a part of this redesign. What's happened since then?
Well, a lot.
Yeah.
It is a big process. We voted in the spring, and then for the summer, our staff participated in a book study. There was a choice of 4 different areas, books from 4 different areas, because although redesign is very specific to your building, there are some basic tenets to it, like real-world applications and community partnerships, student success skills, and so we as a staff wanted to be as up to speed as we could be once things really got busy in August.
And I think we organized a committee, and they were aboard on leadership, and they had some ideas, and we expressed. So in the beginning of the school year, I thought we were ready to go.
Ready to start the process.
Yeah, I would say our biggest challenge with our staff is that our staff's ready to do things, you know, and we're saying, no, we need to investigate more. We need to know what our why is, you know, because that's what we're hearing from our coach at the state. And our staff is like, but let's just do things.
Right.
You know,
they
we
want
have
to
a
get going.
Yeah, we have a great staff, and that is a huge asset for us.
Yeah, that's awesome. Very, very cool. Okay, so you've voted it in, you've done your research throughout the summer, and then in August, it wasn't like it launched, right? Like they haven't started doing anything. But this spring, you will kind of start, you won't launch it this spring, but you will be doing a couple prototypes to get a feel for what it's going to look like.
Yeah, we have decided as a staff that we're going to start with our schedule. And we will probably prototype a couple of different schedules. We had a team that went up to Omaha a couple of weeks ago and looked at, they have what's called a modular schedule, which is really intriguing and opens up a lot of opportunities for us. So we're going to start by prototyping a couple of different schedules.
Cool, very good.
This spring semester.
Very good. All right, well, we will be back after this short break to learn more about what's going to be happening with the redesign at CCCHS.
Count on our team at Eagle for reliable internet, TV, and phone, because keeping you connected is what we do. Eagle Communications, our community connected. Count on our team at Eagle for business class phone, internet, and technology solutions, because keeping your business connected is what we do. Eagle Communications, our community connected.
Welcome back to Clay Center Now. I'm Shannon Stark with Clay Center Area Chamber of Commerce, and I have two teachers here from CCCHS talking about the redesign program that they will be implementing next August. Before the break, we talked briefly about changing the schedule. What exactly is that going to look like for your students?
Well, we think our initial schedule will have some flexibility added into the middle of the day. We currently have an advisory time that's about 35 minutes long, and part of that has been sustained silent reading. And we will morph that so that advisory time will be about 20 minutes, and then we're putting together our lunch and the rest of the advisory time into an hour-long block in the middle of the day where students will eat when they're ready to eat during that time. And then they will have time that they could be meeting with teachers, or they could be working on projects or getting some extra help on assignments. And teachers will, you know, take lunch during one portion of that, and that'll be posted outside our doors. So it'll be a little bit like facilitating office hours would be, you know, maybe at the university level, those kinds of things. And we're hoping to kind of help students work on their time management skills and also their interpersonal skills. You know, they'll have to set up appointments, or they'll have to come in. They'll have to make sure we're available during the time that they need to meet. And so we'll start, that'll be the first schedule that we'll implement.
So every building redesign looks different, and
Yes.
you guys get to do what you want. And so at the high school level, this is an opportunity for you to really get them prepared for university, for
Yes.
college, like you said, office hours, and getting to eat when they want to eat. And, you know, if they don't schedule that in, then they don't
Right.
get to eat. You know, I mean, like
Right.
those are things that happen in college and
Yes.
and in the real workforce. And if they think that their project's more important, like they've got to time it out. And
Right.
that's very cool, very good.
Yeah, we think so too, and we think these are real world skills that we all have to do every day. And up to this point, you know, high school has been so structured. A bell rings, you go to the next spot. You have 22 minutes for lunch. Somebody tells you when to do that. And that's not how the next step is, whether you go the vocational route or you go to the world of work or to college, you have to decide all those things. So if we can kind of scaffold that in and help kids be able to do that now, that'll just be a strength for them once they graduate.
Definitely. Very good. Cool. And when you'll see a little bit of that next semester with the kids?
We will. I think we will start Monday, January 7th.
Oh, wow.
With that schedule. That's the thing about Redesign. It moves very quickly because part of what you're doing is getting your culture to a place where you can make decisions quickly.
Right.
You know, I think that's been one of education is an institution, and it has moved at a snail's pace for a long time. And that's not how our world works. It's not how business works. It's not how our students' lives work when they leave our building. And so for us to be poised to be able to pivot quickly when we need to make changes, that's a huge culture change for us.
Yeah.
I also think it helps with the organizational skills because the students have to make appointments and they have to know their calendar. And in the past, some of the students haven't kept calendars. Now it's going to be essential that they do so because teachers are going to have to be flexible as well, and you're not always going to count on the teacher being there.
Yeah, and this only isn't going to be a huge adjustment for your students, but your staff. And
yes,
and like you said, having that 80% vote, they're all on board and they know that that's what they voted for. So.
Right. Yeah, we had a meeting, I guess that Thursday before Christmas break, and the excitement in the library was palpable. I mean, and we had one teacher who just said, "Let's go.
Yeah,
let's just do it." So we are thrilled to have the staff that we have to work with because they are amazing people.
Very cool. Another thing in January you said you have coming up is you're going to visit some of the schools in the state that have already experienced the redesign.
Yeah, the Mercury 7 schools who launched in August are now ready for visits. And so we're excited to go around and see those. I know we have a team going out to Wellington, and probably a team to Coffeyville. They have really expanded their vocational piece, their CTE courses, and we're excited to see that. We may have a group that goes out to Liberal to see what their scheduling looks like. And so we're just interested to see what ideas we bring back from those buildings. And everywhere that we've heard those people from those schools speak, their excitement has been infectious. So it'll be really cool to see it in place now and talk to their students and talk to their staff members.
Yeah, and getting to talk to the students will be fun.
Yes, we think so too. Yeah, because they will tell you the truth.
Yeah, definitely, they will.
Definitely.
They won't hold anything back. Very cool. Well, good. So what else do you have in this that we're going to see in this next semester in the process? Well, you guys have been going to training or classes, or what does that kind of look like?
We have little segments where we go to Salina and we learn from the State Department, and we also have local meetings. We're just trying to come up with ideas, plan, and get our faculty up to date with how we're wanting things done.
Right. So you've been already for a semester planning, brainstorming, so you kind of have another semester to really get it exactly how you want it to be, and then in August it'll launch.
Right.
Very exciting.
It
Cool.
is.
Yeah. All right. We will be back right after this break to hear more about the redesign.
At Eagle Marketing Solutions, we believe your advertising should be as unique as your business. Because if it's important to you, it's important to us. Call Eagle today for your customized marketing plan.
Eagle Technology Solutions is the strategic advisor for your IT business needs. Because if it's important to you, it's important to us. Call today, Eagle Technology Solutions. Technology done right.
Welcome back to Clay Center Now. I'm Shannon Stark with Clay Center Area Chamber of Commerce, and I have Don Murphy and Laura Pullman here talking about the CCCHS redesign. We've talked a lot about how the history of this and how everything came about and how you got into it. Talk a little bit more about what it's really going to look like when it's implemented.
Right, so we've talked a little bit about our initial schedule. One of the other prototypes that we will probably do this semester will be an even more flexible schedule that's going to take a little bit of time for our counselors to get up and running, where basically each teacher will come forth and say, okay, I teach these classes. I need to see them this many days a week for these kind of time implements or increments. And then they will build the schedule around that. So,
So kind of like block scheduling, but not as structured.
Right. Yeah, and it's a module schedule, and I had talked about earlier that we saw this implemented up at Westside High School in Omaha, and we think that we can do a version of this that will work well for us.
So if you have a lab that you want, you could say, I need 90 minutes on this particular day, or 80 minutes, whatever it may be, and then everybody adjusts itself, and that's part of the plan.
Yeah, because one of our big concerns scheduling-wise has been we have a lot of shared staff between buildings, and we think this could actually facilitate the sharing of those staff members. But in addition to that, the whole reason we're changing our schedule is to facilitate some other things. We'd like to do more project-based learning. We'd like to have more speakers from our community come in. And when you ask a speaker to do that, sometimes they have to come in 4 or 5 times in the day and give the same speech.
Right.
And maybe this would give a block of time where they could come in and give one talk to all the juniors in the auditorium.
Right.
For instance, and that would be a lot more convenient for them.
How long is a class period right now?
49 minutes.
49. And sometimes it doesn't take all 49 minutes and you feel like you're wasting time. And then there's other like labs and things that take more than 49 minutes and you can't get it all done.
Right. So it really does force a teacher to think, okay, what do I need? And content-wise, and what's the best delivery mode for this particular class? Because it's different whether it's a lab class or a welding class or an English or history class.
Right. Because right now they all look the same. So,
Right,
yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And that's the beauty of Redesign, is that it's customized for students, but it's also customized for your staff members as well.
And I love that it's for each building.
Right.
And it's just, because high school is so different than middle school.
Right.
And you're not going to be implementing the same things come August. It's not under
Yeah.
one. Yeah.
It's been very enjoyable to spend time as a district group and hear how each building really knows itself and what its identity is and what they're going to be doing moving forward, and watching that.
Yeah. And I just keep hearing that it's a process. This whole redesign is a process and an ongoing process. So even, next year and the year after that, you're still going to be able, like you said, to move fast and make those changes. So.
But we don't want to move too fast that we're out of control. I mean,
Right.
it's got to be steady
Right.
is what we want.
Steady pace.
And that speaks to the communication piece too. We're really trying to increase the communication that we have with our parents and our students and our community, because these are changes to a system that everybody's known and been very comfortable with. And you have to honor that as you look to move and change things within it.
And one of the big changes that you're wanting to implement is for the kids to be able to be a little bit more involved in the community. Talk a little bit about what that's going to look like.
Well, we know that we have some pieces right now of community involvement that are very strong. Obviously, our FFA is very involved. We have internships in the community, but we would like to see even more internships. We'd like to see project-based learning where we have a very authentic community audience. And our community is indicating that they want us to be more involved too. So we're excited at some of the possibilities moving forward with that.
Well, and as an employee, just, downtown, I think I can learn from these students, having them, they're amazing, the stuff that they can do. And I see a lot of the stuff that they do. And just to have them downtown, that I think that we can all learn from them as well. I think it'll be good for us. So
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. And there's so much going on downtown. That I think the more people we can get involved, the stronger we're going to be, and the more we're going to move fast downtown too, as well.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, we were talking a little bit off camera about. It just feels like this is the right time for Redesign. We feel like we've got a spirit in the community right now that is worth capitalizing on. We have our fully renovated theater. The zoo is undergoing a major renovation. That's amazing for a town of, 4,500 people to be doing that. We've got a new brew pub. We've got basically a new hospital. And we can be part of that innovation too. And just the spirit downtown, coming off the holidays and the lighted Christmas parade and all the Christmas trees on the square. I mean, I don't know, Clay Center it's always been a neat community, but the last few years, this is a really cool place to be. And we know that if we innovate along with that, that's just one more reason that people will want to come here and have their families here.
Yes.
We are a strong district. We have been, but we can be even stronger in the future.
Yeah, and I love that the community can be a part of that, and that the kids get to be
Agreed.
a part of, and getting them prepared for the workforce and all their future. And as a high school, I think that's something huge you guys are focused on.
Absolutely.
The businesses have always supported our school, and this is a way for us now to help the businesses as well, if they so choose to accept our help.
Very good. Well, I'm more than excited for this redesign and to see what August has to come, and even this spring is going to be some changes, and I think we're going to see it as a whole community. So
absolutely.
Well, thank you guys for being here today, and thank you for watching Clay Center Now. We will see you next month.